So it's no secret that Jujutsu Infinite is just falling off. Dude, like, this could be a less scripted video, but because I can speak all of this out of my ass because I'm smart, but you know, W Glaze. But basically, all of the updates that Jujutsu Infinite has released since, you know, the game dropped were all half-assed, and they're all not really prolonging its lifespan. What I mean by that is like Santa Boss and Lunar event, right? Those two events were okay. Santa Boss was, you know, was the first introduction to world bosses, which was pretty good. I didn't have much issues with that update, apart from it just being a grind, which will be a pattern, by the way. So, with Santa Boss, me and my friends like speedran through that because, you know, it was pretty easiest event. We introduced skill scrolls, and the thing with skill scrolls is that the ones that they introduced were going to be limited time. So, the way this is going to be for people joining the game later than me, or the ones that did the event, they're going to be at a disadvantage because they don't have Slay, they don't have the healing thing, and they don't have Snowman. And by the way, Snowman just like defeats the purpose of having a clone like technique, so there's that. That update was okay, but the precedent it set wasn't very good. Because when world bosses would come out, it was alright. They spawned on a timer, but the problem was that all of them didn't spawn on the timer. It was one of 3. So, every 30 minutes, you'd get a world boss, but you'd get a chance to get a special grade drop, or just pity it for, like, what, 20 bosses later down the line? But if you were to pity all the items in the game, 20 bosses per suit pants and suit shirt and chains, you'd have to do 20 bosses each of those. No, for each corresponding to those items. 20 times 30 is 600. That's 10 hours of farming one specific boss to get every drop. And that's if you get the same boss in those 10 hours every time. So to get the full like suit pants, shirt and chain set, you'd have to do 60 bosses, which is 30 hours of grinding. If you don't get lucky and you just have to pity, it's alright. Then there's also the cloak, which is another 20 of each boss, which makes it a total count of 120 boss kills. And this one you can't pity. So this is just 60 hours down the gutter to get all the luck items from pity, if you don't get them from natural drops. This is like actually ridiculous. You expect players to grind, what, 60 hours to get this one set that boosts your luck. Like what? The only reason I have this set is because me and my couple of friends just like speedran it by buying the game pass to spawn all bosses for 50 Robux. So we just did that, got everything, pitied some of this shit, and then stopped playing because, you know, there's no points to world bosses. But why is it that world bosses don't have an increased rate of dropping special grades or uniques? That's a little bit silly considering the pity count is so high. Like spending 60 hours doing the same 3 bosses at random, by the way, you know, you can't even pick the boss you want to do every 30 minutes, is insane. It's like so unhealthy for the game. Every time I see someone farming for the items, I'm like, don't do it, it's a waste of time. So there's that. Then they dropped the Lunar update. The map looked cool for a minute, but the problem with it was that, you know, how you used to like pity the old Christmas drops, you can do that here now as well. But there's a daily limit of 100 snake talismans. There's also a time limit, and the total of snake talismans you need to get to pity everything is, I think, 845, from what I recall. And since there's a limit of getting 100 snake talismans a day, you had to play the game for like 9 days straight in the event's time to get all the drops. Pity. So what this meant was, if you were to join the event in the final 5 days, or like the final week actually, you just can't get everything. Like, dude, Sure, the event timer is 18 hours, but who's actually going to do that? If you're joining the event, you're going to do it once every day, not once every 18 hours, because, you know, you have a sleep schedule and shit. So what this led to was, you know, I bet a lot of people didn't complain about this, but there's definitely a number of people that just couldn't get everything because they joined the event too late and started grinding too late. Like, I had this happen with some of my friends, and the snake talisman limit, like, made no sense. Like, when I first asked a Wave 1, it was an actual thing, they said, no, they don't think so, why would they add it? Then I reached the cap and I was like, okay, so what the fuck are they doing? And they just couldn't answer, they didn't know. So, that made no sense. It also dropped power creep. So it dropped the highest stat giving accessories. So the shirt gave you plus 80 strength, the pants gave you like plus 80 tech. And the cloak gave you plus 50 tech as well. But the thing is, all of those had plus 100 health, I think. So basically, those are plus 150 stat items, and you just, I don't know, it's just power creep. Especially for the hats, actually. The black mask, I think, it's plus 100 strength, plus 50 health. That's the best strength accessory in the game, and you can't get it anymore. You have to wait for the next year if it comes back, and the devs are lazy. Or you just have to wait for something better to come out, and that's ridiculous. Like, what? Like, how does that make sense? So, there's that. Also, if they added another skill scroll, that's gonna be unusable by any new player. It's Golden Wind, it's decent, so yeah. Oh yeah, with the bosses actually, they added skill scrolls, but they also added a demonic Hell Stomp special grade skill scroll, which you can't pity, so have fun grinding that off the monk without trading. So yeah. That's that. Then they added Mekumaru. Mekumaru, I don't even consider a legendary innate. Mekumaru is the only legendary innate without either a maximum or a domain or both. Like Volcano has domain and maximum. He might as well be special grade, right? But Mekumaru has 5 moves. All of them are pretty mid. And no domain or maximum technique. You know what Cryokinesis has? I think Cryo has 6 moves and a maximum technique. How is a rare innate more legendary than a legendary? Like, what? How does that make sense? So yeah, there's that. I think Mekumaru came out unfinished and half-assed. And I think this is the theme for like a lot of the updates. Like, you notice every update there's like some weird bug that, you know, should have been caught immediately. Like when the auto transfer rework came out first, because it's new now. The ball move just flung me when someone rushed me. Like, how did no one catch that in testing, right? Because there's, you know, for context, there's 2 levels of testers. Wave 2s, we do fuck all. They promised them to, you know, test updates before they actually came out. They never did that. Wave 1s, they basically have what the devs promised to do with the Wave 2s. They test the updates before they come out to the game. But I don't even think they're doing that anymore. Like, because so many bugs come through that just don't make sense. Like, for example, before release, when the M1 bounce changes were first pushed, you got punished for landing a rush, because the rush M1 that, like, stun wasn't enough to continue a combo. And this before release, it was a while ago. So it's whatever, but that's just like an example of things not being tested, right? And I think you'll notice that a lot more. Especially with auto transfix, so let's circle back to that real quick. The flash drill, if you're up close to someone, it hits multiple times. And each of those times, while you're holding it, it'll put a bubble stack on them, which contributes to soul touch. So what this leads to happening is people getting 2,500 damage soul touches. I don't think this was like figured out really fast by me and a couple of friends, by the way. Like, right when the update came out, we just figured that out and it was like busted. Like, pretty much half of the people in ranked, I guess, are doing that. But like, how? Like, the update just came out and we're finding out more like issues than the actual Wave 1s, which are meant to be testing the game. Or more issues than the devs are finding, actually. Like, the devs, okay. There's also another level to these waves. There's wave 0s. a lot of people have a role, but I only consider the devs wave zeros because they have studio access and they can access these changes as they're done. But like, how did they not catch that? Using the move for like a few minutes didn't make you catch on to the fact that Soul Touch does that. And because it aggressively scales with tech, it just leads you to doing a shit ton of damage. So there's that. Auto Transfix is meta right now. And also the rework isn't even a rework. It's just a rebound. Like, one move got changed to not be the original move. Blade Rush got a like slave thing where it pulls them as you use it, but you go too fast to hit them with a whole Blade Rush, so that's just useless. It's a cool extender, but it's ass because it doesn't actually do what it's meant to. Like, when I buffed Blade Rush, I was like, oh my god, you can get full 10 bubbles now from extending, and that's just not a thing. So yeah, Blade Rush is just ass as always. That one body move that turns into a ball is ass as well because it has end lag, so it's punishable. And it also has a crazy wind up, so it's super avoidable. And everything else is just the same for Auto Transfix. Like, the Awakening buff is just ass. Like, who cares about movement speed when you're gonna be in your enemy's face or not? Like, what? Because like, movement speed doesn't really do anything for combat and shit. So yeah, that's the Auto Transfix rebalance. I don't consider that a rework, it's just not. And yeah, so all of the updates have been half-assed, and they had a Calling Games and Exchange Events game mode in the works but since before release, right? But they've just not been working on it from what I see, because like, dude, the game has been losing so many players since release. It went from 450k on release to 15,000 now. That's a huge fall off. Like, they have what, 30 no, not even 30, is it? Hold on, let me do the maths. They have 3% of the players they started with on release. I think that's right. So the game fell off so hard that they lost 97% of their players in what, 2 months? Like, how do you even do that? The issue is that the game's repetitive. There's no post game, there's no end game. If they added Calling Games and Exchange Events, then you'd see a lot of returning players, because, you know, they'd want to play the game modes, they'd want to engage. Like, a lot of people, I heard from Uga, because he's my friend, but a lot of people in the Brazilian community think that this is meant to be a PvP game. And I don't think this is what the devs are going for, because they hate the PvP players. So, yeah. So the game just has nothing to do, and it's just bleeding players day by day, and it's gone so bad that we lost 97% of their players. Like, dude, how do you fumble that? What are your priorities? Like, the Gojo Pass looks cool, right? But in the sandbox, they're unique drops, so, you know, nobody's getting them, especially if they're not meta. So that's just a null mode. I'll probably fight them once and then be like, okay, I'm out. So that's a shit mode, probably. And it's after that, there's still nothing to do. You beat Gojo Boss, then what? You go ranked? You get to fuck all from it. You got like leaderboard recognition like I do, but like that's it. And the thing is, in ranked, if you get enough elo, you just can't queue anyone. I'm at around 900 elo, I think. And the strict elo setting works the way it shouldn't. So if I turn off strict elo, my range goes from like what, 100 to 300, my elo range. So I can only queue people 300 elo above or below me. And there's not a lot of people at 600 elo. So I just can't play ranked unless I'm sniping people. I have a friend helping me with that, but like, yeah, you can't play the game if you're a casual player in ranked if you get too good. It's kind of unfair. So yeah, that's why I haven't really been, you know, talking much about JJI or been playing much of JJI on the channel or posting videos at all, because I'm just out of ideas, right? There's not much you can do on JJI, and there's not much you can make content about on JJI, because there's nothing that will last. So, yeah, but that's just my thoughts on the Falloff. Like, the devs have their priorities backwards, and it's evident. And clearly the wave ones aren't testing shit, because there's so many things that go through of testing that shouldn't. So yeah, I just wanted to talk because I haven't posted in a while, and it seems like I just hopped off after New Year's. So yeah, have a good day, everyone. I just wanted to talk and speak my mind. The game is just cooked. They need like a major revamp in their priorities. Bye bye.